Hello, everyone, and welcome to another weekly market recap webinar. Hope you've all had a fantastic week, and hopefully you've come up in the green. I have had a relatively flat week, slightly in the green, but taken a couple of losses on a couple of positions. So without further ado, let's get straight into things. So looking at the S&P 500 here. As you can see still within the channel there that I've got drawn on the chart. Let's have a little zoom in for this week. So as you can see here, give me one moment. As you can see here, we've ended up relatively flat for the whole week, the white line being the start of the week. And we're pretty much closed just below where we opened, really. Not a huge difference there. Let's have a look. We've closed down about 0.4% for the week. But having a look at the individual bars here, have a look at how low we got. We pretty much touched. Well, we made not really, but we pretty much touched the bottom line of this channel here, which is fine for now. But we don't really want to be breaking this level here, especially not if I were to move this here so it's in line with the bottom of these candles here. So if we see a break of this this channel here, we could be in for a bit of a bear market. Could be a correction or something like that, but we'll just have to wait and see how the next couple of weeks pan out. Hopefully, after seeing Thursday, and Friday's sort of bullish movement, hopefully that will continue on into next week. Investors seemed kind of eager to start buying the dip by the looks of things, but still a little bit spooked by some of the economic things going on at the moment, namely inflation and how rapidly that is building. So that's the S&P for this week. Hopefully we'll see a better week than we did this week. Moving on into sectors now. As you can see, I've got the white line as the start of the week again. Sorry, I just put that back to year to date. As you can see, a lot of them fairly flat for the week, or well, actually lower. Looking at this white line, a lot of the sectors ending up in the red, aside from real estate again, powering through nicely. Communications and internet services was up as well. S&P relatively flat. Healthcare was up. Utilities up as well. And tech slightly up there as well, which is surprising. So yeah, we're seeing a little bit of indecision in the markets, as you can see from about the start of the month. So just around this 7th of May mark, as you can see, we've sort of seen some consolidation there, with most of the movements moving towards the downside and then coming back up. So that would be something to keep an eye on over this week coming up ahead. Next, what I wanted to talk about was Bitcoin. Having a look at the Bitcoin chart. Could this be the pop of the bubble? We're seeing a huge sell-off in Bitcoin over the last few days. Having a look at the volume bars as well. Big numbers in volume there on these huge red candles here, which is not great to see for Bitcoin investors. So I'm hoping you're all keeping your hard-earned money safe and not letting that go down the tubes with this chart at the moment. So the catalyst for this sell-off being China announcing that they will not be integrating Bitcoin into any of their sort of payment systems. And I think the government also warned against using and accepting Bitcoin as payments too. So that's where we see that big sell-off coming from. It was due a correction anyway, to be completely honest. Look at this huge movement we've seen, and that's just been since just the start of the year, basically, as you can see. So hopefully you're all staying safe with that sort of stuff if you're in the crypto markets. Just be careful, it is volatile. Yeah, you don't want to be losing more than you can afford. Okay, next we've got earnings for this week. Fairly reasonable week, nothing too extreme going on. Got a couple of big companies reporting. So we've got Snowflake, that'll be interesting. Nvidia, that'll be a good one to watch out for and see what they bring out, and see what they say in terms of the semiconductor shortage, see how they're faring with that sort of stuff and the guidance that they're going to put out. That'll be interesting. Best Buy, that'll be good. Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Dell, HP, Ulta Beauty, Gap, Costco, Salesforce. They're all the main ones by the looks of things. So Thursday after the close should be an interesting, Thursday in general should be an interesting day for earnings releases. Next, what I wanted to mention was just the insider trading going on at the moment in the markets. So as you can see by the chart here that I'm showing you, or the table here that I'm showing you, there's a lot of red going on here, which is a bit of a red flag for me. Obviously, this updates very frequently, as you can see, all the updates coming through. But I've been keeping an eye on this week, and there's been quite a few big companies with high position employees or people that work there that are selling off their positions. So Facebook being one of them, I can see a lot of selling happening with them recently. Here's another one. We've got Walmart. So that's quite a substantial amount of selling going on there in Walmart. There it is again. Amazon came through the other day. That's not really huge news. That was sort of known to the market, I think, with Jeff Bezos selling a lot of his positions. So just something to keep an eye on, which I have been lately. So a lot of red, not much green happening, which is something to just something to think about. This table that I'm looking at today has probably been the most green that I've seen this week. Bearing in mind, though, that it has been a volatile week. Okay, moving into positions opened and closed for me last week. So we'll go open positions I have at the moment. I'm sitting in mainly cash, and I do have a couple of small positions, small size positions, with a couple of options still open. So we've got my Palantir option right still open for a put option that I sold. I still have that open, sitting with $12 as my strike, and that's for a couple of months away. Doing okay for now. Let's see how this fares out. We've got a bit of a downtrend going. Hopefully we can see a little bit of support come in around this area at 17 before it reaches down here at the $12 mark. but if it keeps heading that direction, I'll look at maybe closing it out when I get a bit of a profit on it. Carnival Cruise Lines, still have that one open. My strike around the $15 mark. Same again, sold a put on that one. As you can see, seeing this triangle forming here. Let's see which way it breaks. It looks like it's heading towards the upside, but we'll see how we go with that one. Still grinding away in a bit of a trading range here as well, as you can see. I think it will just need to decide its direction, okay? And by the looks of things, the path of least resistance is looking like it's heading towards the upside, with our $30.64 mark being the 52-week high. So it will be interesting to see what happens if and when it does break that level. Starbucks took a position in this, looking to continue following the trend by the looks of things. Well, I'm hoping anyway, and just took an initial position on this dip here, as you can see over the last week. I'm hoping it bounces off this sort of range when general market conditions start looking a little bit better. But I have my stop set for below this trend line here. And I think I've got it below this 100-day moving average too. Next one, UPS, still holding that from when I mentioned it last week. In hindsight, looking at this now, may have hopped on the train a little bit late with this one, but and looks to be heading towards the downside. Hopefully things in the general market will turn around and turn this bad boy around as well. But I've got my stop set for where I need it anyway. Setting lower highs, but not lower lows though. So this thing could go either way. Next one, Target, just same thing as the Starbucks thing, jumping on the train there after it broke the Starbucks box here, as you can see. After earnings, they did really well. They've been an absolute powerhouse since the crash in March last year. As you can see, they didn't even really sell off that much. So where are we from March? So that was about the start of it. Let's see how much they sold off. So that's the start of March. They got 20% compared to some other companies that sold off plus 50%. They've just been an absolute unit. And yeah, hopefully that this trend that we've got will continue. And I'll be able to add to this position as time goes by. Awesome company. All right, next closed positions for the week. So CRM was looking to get onto, well, I'm trying a new crossover, a new moving average crossover strategy at the moment. This one, to be honest, that I took, as soon as I took it, I sort of felt like it wasn't going to work out too well. And yeah, it turned out to be the case on this one, as you can see by this big red bar. But you live and you learn. That's what it's all about. Luckily, it was only a small position because I'm still sort of running through some tests on this new strategy that I'm running. All right, next was ResMed, same thing, looking to get in on the crossover. Again on this one, as soon as I took it, and it was late, so unfortunate on that one. But you learn. And the last one, the last close position was Ford. This one worked out really nicely. I bought the day after this, so I think it was the day after this I purchased, yep. So I bought on the 17th. This method that I'm testing at the moment, sort of a scalping strategy where we're not looking um, to win big, although I would have if I kept this position. But that's not part of my plan. That's just a what if. but yeah, this one worked out really nicely. I got in just after this candle here, and I got out just below this resistance point here that you can see with my mouse. So that one worked out nicely. So yeah, still running some tests on those that new strategy. The risk reward on it is really intriguing though. So hopefully the wins, even if they're less frequent than the losses, hopefully the reward versus risk will far outweigh the downside. All right, so finally going into some of the main tickers that I'm watching for this week and some that you can maybe add to your watch list for the week as well. Let's start out with good old trusty Apple. So as you can see, I've got this triangle pattern here loaded on the chart. I'm really liking triangles at the moment. For the most part, they are actually being really helpful, and they are sending a really good signal. So what you're seeing here is you're seeing the stock reach lower highs, which means there's less sort of buying pressure at the top here of the on the top line here of the triangle, and that might be due to people placing their stops around these points, and that's just coming lower and lower and lower as the price comes down as well. Then you're seeing the higher lows as well, which means that the stop losses on the lower side of things are also coming up. So we're seeing sort of a meet in the middle. That's what this represents. And as this range sort of compresses, you'll see a lot of limit orders being hit and a lot of stop losses being triggered as well, which can lead to large price moves in either direction. So for an example of that, just so you can visualize what I'm trying to say, I'll show you one that I did chart a while back that worked out really well. I didn't end up taking the position, unfortunately, but I'll show you anyway. So TripAdvisor, as you can see here, when I was using the purple lines, so give me a sec. So this is what it kind of looked like at the time, like that, and obviously the lines there coming towards the center. That was off of a couple of large candles there as well. So some people call this flag a flag as well. So you can see the higher highs and then the higher lows there as well. They just sort of contract, and that range just squeezes tighter and tighter and tighter. Then there's no more selling, and a lot of limit orders get hit, and then you see this huge run over the next few days off this huge volume as well, where everyone starts to get in as well, even though they tanked on their earnings. But just the momentum of the buying just built up all this pressure up to this top here that we saw there at $64. So that would have been a gain, if you bought down here, that would have been a gain of nearly 100%. So that's a best case scenario. It doesn't always work out, but they have been pretty reliable lately. So yeah, so just been watching some of these triangles recently. And yeah, so the idea for this trade is Apple, obviously a fantastic company. You can't really fault them. looking to get in on this dip. We'll see how the general market looks next week. Then we've got Chubb, same thing, trending upwards as you can see here from the higher lows on these swings here. Just looking to continue that upwards momentum. Nice volume as well, above average as you can see over the last few days, and the price hasn't really moved too much. So there seems to be a little bit of a battle going on. So we'll see which way comes out on top, the sellers or the buyers. From the looks of things at the moment and the trend and the path of least resistance, it should be upwards, but it doesn't always go that way, as you probably know. Datadog sitting below its 200-day moving average. So I'm not too, I don't want to be too rushed getting in on this. As you can see, a couple of different trend directions there. At the moment, we're in that downtrend. Seeing the lower highs. But if it can break that point there that you can see there, that line, this one here, this trend line here, if the price can break through this off these nice healthy green bars, if it can break through this, and definitely if we can break through that 200-day moving average, we should see another move to the upside. If it does start to break down, so there will be a lot, I would imagine there'll be a few stops sitting around this trend line here, the 200-day moving average, and this recent top here. There will be quite a lot of stops in, I would imagine, around this point here. So we'll just have to see how that works out over the next week or so. Okay, next, Disney, looking to get in on this bump here. This sell-off was due to the forward guidance not being fantastic, as you may have remembered from the last couple of webinars that I've done, but seems to be respecting this support line here, as you can see, and moving towards the upside. So hopefully that continuation will continue. The only thing that worries me a little bit is just the lack of volume at the moment. So we'll see how things fare for Disney this week. DocuSign, huge strength of this support line here. As you can see, there's been multiple touches of this area, this 187, 190 area, huge amount of touches there. So let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 7, and 8. So 8 touches of support there where buyers have just come back in and not let that price go below that line there. So at the moment, looks like a bit of a trend reversal. We could see things change though. Yeah, but that will be up to the general market environment. I think they do have earnings coming up in 11 days though, and they made money last earnings and the one before that. So it may work out all right depending on what they say and what their forward guidance is. A lot of work from home and everything finishing up now across the world, and especially in the US where people are being told they need to go back to work. So I'm assuming there'll be less demand for this type of service, but we'll see how that works out. Next one, Fastly. I've been mentioning this over the last couple of webinars. Seems to have a little bit of support coming in here. A few green candles over the last few days in a pretty poor market environment. So that's quite promising to see. I'd like to see this gap fill a little bit though before I build any confidence in buying this at the moment. So keeping an eye on that. General Electric, as you can see, another triangle pattern forming here. moving towards the upside, following the trend, as you can see there as well. This white line here is the general trend of General Electric on the weekly chart. This is over a long period of time. So as you can see, it's sloping downwards. However, the price is moving towards that line. It's getting closer and closer. So if we break this trend line here, I'll zoom out so you can see where I've got it. Let's go to the weekly, that will be easier to see. Oh, whoops. They've made a new update on it and it doesn't automatically click off whatever you're using before. It's kind of annoying, but anyway. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the trend line in from the high, to the highest high, to the current high. And so if we can break that area there, that'll be interesting to see it. And this is sort of the most recent highs, I suppose, this trend line here. So yeah, it will be good to see what happens if that were to break that area there. And by the looks of things and the volume around General Electric over the last couple of years, actually, that could be a reality. So it will be interesting to see. So keep an eye on that one. All right, let's get back in the auto. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, next, Jumia Technologies breaking this trend line here, moving up quite nicely. Let's see if this continues. If it breaks through these moving averages, it could have a bit of a trend reversal, which would be good to see for the company. I would imagine so that we see a bit of consolidation from here, though. That's my thoughts, but I could be wrong. So keeping an eye on that after this break of this trend line. 3 touches of that trend line too, so it's quite strong. Plug, same again, breaking that trend line, moving closer and closer towards the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average as well. If that crosses that area, that could be interesting to see as well. Earnings tomorrow though, so we'll see how that works out. What day did they report? 25th. Yeah, a bit of a sell-off after that earnings report, so that will be interesting to watch. Space, so Virgin Galactic just had a successful test flight for their space flight. They successfully landed yesterday, which was fantastic for the company. So we'll see how the price moves tomorrow on that news. They had a I can't remember if they cancelled their last flight or if it just ended miserably. I can't remember which one it was, but yeah, successful test flight yesterday. They've got a couple more coming up. I think they've got 2 more coming up. One with someone else, I think private astronauts, I think was the first one. Then the second one, Richard Branson will be on that one. And then the third one will be, I think it was Italian military to show them capabilities or something like that. And then I think there'll be, don't quote me, but I think they're looking to take on bookings from them. Interesting times we live in. Anyway, next one, Spotify. This has disappointed me recently. However, looks to be respecting this support level here at 220-ish. Sitting quite low below that 200-day moving average though, which is which has accelerated this sell-off, I believe. Yeah, but we'll see how this one goes. I'm not holding out too much hope for this one. Square, same boat. Kind of respecting that 200-day moving average, but only just holding on, really. Little bit of support coming in here off these levels here on the $200 mark as well, sitting 1 cent above $200. If we break this area, we could see a bit of a breakdown from there. Fantastic company though. Square, they're everywhere at the moment. So yeah. Twitter looks to be respecting this trend line. Dipped below it a little bit, but came back up in the next couple of days. I would sort of say that was due to the market environment. Initial sell-off must have been guidance, wasn't fantastic because they did beat their estimates. I haven't looked into it, but I assume that's why it sold off and gapped down like this. Hopefully this will continue this pattern and continue to follow the trend. Uber, same, similar looking chart to Twitter there. Big sell-off at the start of the week just before earnings. They did beat though, which is good. Still not making fantastic money though. We'll see if this continues. Still in an uptrend at the moment. Only one lower high, but that's pretty normal. It's not super prevalent, so we'll see how things turn out for them. WD-40, still waiting for the upside to come back, starting to consolidate around this area, 240, 255-ish. Yeah. Enphase, clean energy company. Bit of a downtrend. I like the company though. I looked into them. Their financials aren't too bad. I think they're a little bit early to the market, but they'll be primed for when they are needed. So I'm liking what they're doing. Okay, a bit of a moving into trend following tickers now. So we've got first the Citigroup. This one's moving up nicely, even with that shaky environment that we had last week. Still advancing forward, which is great to see. As you can see at the top there, we've got this horizontal line here. That is overhead resistance. That is the highest high, the recent highest high, the most recent highest high. So moving quite abruptly towards that area there. If it does break that, we could see a huge upside for this company, and they're still very there's still a great value buy. Have a look at the weekly chart here. So here it doesn't look like a value buy, but if I keep zooming out, you'll see what I mean. So it made its way all the way to around 570 in 07, sold off. They must have been hugely over leveraged just before the financial crisis, and they've been recovering ever since. Latest high was in February of 2018. So we can break this level, we can see potential for huge upside. So I'm watching that one quite closely. All right. Next, Bank of America, same sort of thing. The financial sector is doing really well, and so they should. With inflation coming in, interest rates will have to come up at some point. All the banks will do fantastically, as they always do, except when they make stupid decisions. But anyway, Boston Properties, same thing. Real estate's doing really well, as I mentioned at the start in the sectors part. they've moved nicely over this shaky week, so that's one you may want to watch. Ford's already mentioned tonight, but if it breaks through this overhead resistance, we could see decent upside. And have a look at the volume on Friday, massive. But if that continues, could be in for a treat. Target, already mentioned that. Fantastic company. Lots of volume on the last couple of days of the week. Doing really well in this tough time. All right, that's all I have for you tonight. Hopefully you got some value out of this. I'm still enjoying doing these for you guys. Hopefully they're helping. And yeah, so hopefully this next coming week will be a lot better than the last few that we've had. We'll just have to wait and see. Until next week, guys, have a good resty weekend, and let me know if there's anything else that will help you, and I'm happy to do that for you. All right, guys, see you next week. Thanks for the support.